Diddy Combs appeared in federal court today. It was the music mogul's first appearance before a new judge who will...
Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Downfall of the famous and powerful hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
He is already complaining. Please let me out on bail. I promise no female visitors. My goodness.
That a judge denied the second request for his bail yesterday. Let's first start there and give people kind of the backstory.
Music mogul Diddy allegedly had a violent altercation in jail, and the news is spreading quickly and stirring up controversy. According to rumors, things became heated, and Diddy reportedly took a hard hit before begging for forgiveness. The controversy is being heightened by a leaked video of the incident that is going popular online and sparking heated discussions. This situation might have a negative effect on Diddy's reputation and career, leading to a significant reaction. So, what really happened in that cell? Keep checking back as we delve further into the details.
The second request for his bail yesterday. Let's first start there and give people kind of the backstory as to why did that happen.
The process in New York is exactly the same as in North Carolina. Two parts. Is the person a likelihood to appear? Are they a flight risk? And do they have a likelihood to crime, specifically a new violent crime? And then the third portion that the judge touched on in this case is, has that person in the past done some type of witness tampering? Have they attempted to try to, influence witnesses not to come forward? That's what the prosecutors argued in this case. The judge totally agreed that he had a history of attempting to make individuals that were participating with the government to not participate anymore. The judge felt that there were reasons. The judge actually said there are no conditions for release that would allow this case to continue to move forward with you out.
Back to putting Diddy on suicide watch. I mean, I learned from you today, just from talking in the newsroom, it's really not as straightforward as you might think. As the former chief magistrate, you made decisions like this. So what exactly does that process like?
In the process, when we would set conditions for release in Mecklenburg County, for instance, all of the 30 plus magistrates, determining if a person could go or leave, typically you're setting conditions either for a secured bond, unsecured, or a promise to appear. However, if that person at some point decided to say, you know what, in the process of them talking to you or finding out what would happen, that they wanted to kill themselves, then you were required to notify someone immediately, look, this person has made suicidal ideations, and now we're not safe with allowing them to leave. They're going to be held here. If they made that statement during the process of intake, for instance, the sheriff's department would decide to keep them there and wait and determine, okay, now we'll put them under evaluation because they're not safe and or they may harm themselves or others. And so that process is definitely not straightforward, but there are red flags that go up instantly because nobody wants to be sued by this situation.
Well, do you think anyone makes those statements on purpose? Have you ever dealt with a situation where they intentionally, they don't want to be with the other inmates?
I've seen that happen in the past, but I can tell you if a person makes that determination, when you are on suicide watch, first of all, to take your, and this is because you're in this before you get admitted. So this is pre-admission, pre-classification. Right. You're still in your regular clothes. You haven't switched into a jumpsuit. And so you still have your regular shoes. They're taking anything that you could potentially harm yourself. They're taking your clothes. They're changing you into some other type of gear where you can't harm yourself. So if you were literally about to leave and you're making those types of comments, you've just delayed yourself by maybe a few hours, if not a few days. And so that process, I've seen it happen where a person was just making kind of crazy comments. Well, you don't know if they're serious or not. So if you're making a comment about, I am intending to harm myself, I'm going to take every situation if it's serious, and then we'll determine later that it wasn't.
Now, TMZ is reporting that they spoke to Diddy's attorney, who then said that his client is not suicidal. In fact, he went on to be a statement saying he's not suicidal, calling him strong, confident, and focused on his defense. So you're a defense attorney. Is that protecting your client? And the other question I have for you, if you can just address this real quick, is they put up $50 million to try and get this man out of jail, and then another $100 million on all of this. So kind of combine that and all this to us.
So yes, typical for what his process is, the case or to defend this case has already started because it's in the court of public opinion. And so how do I make sure that I put that fire out that seems like it's raging really fast? I make sure I make statements that he is in sane mind. The person is there, he's clear, he's conscious, he's aware, he's not down, he's not depressed because he knows he didn't do anything. That's the statement that you're going to make. Regarding the dollar amount, the judge touched on that this was their appeal. Remember, the first judge denied it. They appealed the judge's decision to not give him conditions for release. And they said, look, we'll put up any amount. He has endless resources. He's not going to leave. He turned himself in, and here's the amount. We'll put 50 million up. We'll put 100,000 up to support that. But the judge, as I mentioned before, said there is no condition, no dollar amount, that no assurance that you can say that this case, the integrity of it, specifically the witnesses that will come forward to testify against you, can be safe while you're.
Colleague Rhodes, we appreciate your insight as always, and I guess this case just going to keep on. Do we know the date yet? I haven't heard
nothing
the date.
yet.
Yeah,
but I know for at least a year he will be in.
Ever ponder why multimillionaire Diddy would jeopardize everything while incarcerated? Rumor has it that there's a twist that has everyone talking, and this dispute wasn't just about him. Imagine all eyes on Diddy as he paces a little prison in an orange jumpsuit. He didn't exactly make friends there, and rumors have it that the fight started over something as little as toilet paper. Yes, from fussing over TP to hip-hop aristocracy. How have the strong fallen? The saddest part, however, is that some people say toilet paper has nothing to do with it. Rumor has it that Diddy was called out for his alleged participation in some highly questionable financial transactions, the kind of dark, deep secrets of the business. And when did the dispute start? He wasn't exactly putting up his finest act, to put it simply. Sources claim that he is struggling and seems to be more of a fish out of water than a savvy businessman. He didn't appear to realize he was no longer in the VIP section.
No, he has to do that because no company wants to do business with somebody who is being accused, have allegations against them for sexual misconduct and deviant behavior. Nobody wants to do business with that. All the shareholders, it ain't nothing that he's giving up. They like, yo, listen, give me that. They said, they did a Diddy. Take that. You understand? They're gonna take that from them. The shareholders is gonna say, yo, listen to me. We all gonna pull out. No Diddy. But we all gonna pull out our shares and everything if you don't give up what you have in the company.
Did you see that video that went viral of Diddy pacing around the airport after his houses got raided?
I seen that video. And I seen that look in his face before. You know what I'm saying? When he was with the same gang and Mike Owens, AKA Mike Cock, everybody could tell him, D. Ferg did a collection for him because he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent and he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent, child support, and his car note, because he had one of those drop-top cabarets Volkswagens. So Mike gave $5,000. I wasn't giving him nothing. I'm just telling you right now. D was just collecting money for niggas. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, we got to make sure because he want to kill himself. He gonna kill himself. Diddy had that pace and he had that look in his face that he know something may be wrong or they may have something on him because they took things out of there. We may not have seen what they took, but they had bags and boxes of stuff that they took out of it. So he knows, he's getting a play-by-play of what's going on. And even back then doing that City College, when he was fired from Uptown Records, he was making statements about doing himself. He had that same look in his face.
Yeah, he looked worried, man. I'm not gonna lie, for a split second, man, I felt bad for him. For a split second, but yeah. Like,
everybody, I get all kind of hate mail, IGs, talking about that I'm trying to take a black man down. No. I went through every step you supposed to go through when you got a problem, you got a situation, you got an issue with a man. You understand? I get in contact with him. Went to mutual friends. Let's sit down and talk. What you did to Wolf's mother wasn't right, bruh. You don't talk to her like that. If Wolf was alive, he'd take your head off. You understand? Try to talk to him. People, when they start getting this power, certain positions, have certain amount of money, they don't look back. Some of them don't look back and don't think they have to come back to the people that helped them get to those positions. You understand? I don't care what nobody say. You understand? If somebody helps you and use their ability and their talents to help you get in position and get to certain places and do certain things, you come back and you make sure things is all right. You don't disrespect people's mothers. You don't disrespect your friends that took their money to make sure you was all right when you was wrong, when you was messed up. You don't do that, bro. So by him doing the things that he did, and taking the avenue that he took, he's suffering the consequence, and I don't feel bad for him at all. Because people was trying to talk to him. People was trying to tell him. You couldn't pull him by the coat and let him know anything. You understand? They messed up the game, brother. When he put that shit out with them, money, power, respect, it ain't never been like that. It ain't never been like that. You got your respect in the street that gave you your power, that brought you your money. Totally different thing. He let that money, power, and respect go to his head, but he had it ass backwards. So do I care what happened? Nah. He got enough money to buy his way out of this. So we think.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help them.
For a minute, this is how it all happened. At one point, Diddy starts punching people like he's the main character in a low-budget action film. His face appears ghostly as he lies flat on his back and looks up at his opponent. Just as it seems like he's about to suffer the beating of his life, guess who steps in? The prison priest was neither a guard nor a fellow inmate. Picture Diddy on the ground with his fists flying as the chaplain enters the room and subtly breaks up the altercation. It's just another day at the playground. This unexpected intervention has everyone talking. Some people wonder whether Diddy is religious, while others think it's divine intervention. In any event, the chaplain's timely arrival saved him from what would have been a catastrophic event. But don't be fooled. Diddy still has a lot of issues. Absolutely not. This conflict is just the beginning. And what comes next could make you reconsider everything you've ever thought about the author of I'll Be Missing You.
Presenting some of Diddy's accusers. Our Michelle Fisher sat down with All Red to speak exclusively about the atmosphere surrounding the high-profile case.
It's really all about power and abuse of power.
Prominent attorney Gloria Allred, who has represented accusers of Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and R. Kelly, speaking exclusively with Eyewitness News. She now represents an undisclosed number of Sean Diddy Combs' alleged victims, including Talia Graves.
Trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health.
Tonight's 2020 special, The Secret Life of Diddy, detailing Combs' fall as he faces individual and class action lawsuits and federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, forced sex trafficking, and prostitution. He's pleaded not guilty, his attorney saying prosecutors are seeking to criminalize sex that was consensual.
Consent is a big issue. It is the government's burden in a criminal case to prove any charge and all charges beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a very high burden of proof.
Combs is now asking a federal judge for a trial date next April or May, and we could see ex-girlfriend Cassandra Cassie Ventura take the witness stand. This despite an undisclosed settlement reached one day after Ventura filed a lawsuit against Combs last November, accusing him of rape and abuse.
Even if there are confidential civils, there's always an exception in the law. They can still testify in a court of law if they are subpoenaed to do so.
This bombshell surveillance video leaked in May, showing a 2016 incident where Combs appears to assault Ventura, her friend Tiffany Red detailing alleged verbal abuse in the 2020 special.
And as soon as he answered, so that was like my first time being like, something is wrong.
Combs remains behind bars after two judges denied his request for bond, citing in part dangers of obstruction and witness tampering. All Red says it's a tactic we've seen before in high-profile cases.
Sometimes there are criminal charges filed not only against the defendant, but also against the person who is his friend or supporter who does threaten a witness. And that was the case in the R. Kelly criminal case as well.
In a third attempt to get out of jail and tell his trial, Combs is again offering a $50 million bond and promising strict home detention. His attorneys writing in a brief to a federal appeal court judge, quote, sensationalism surrounding his arrest has distorted bail analysis.
Picture Diddy lying on the chilly jail floor, his once stylized uniform now a rumpled mess. The guy who used to go about in fancy outfits was left trembling. This is far different from the self-assured Diddy we saw in music videos and on red carpets. Is this really the same guy who once claimed he was born to fly? He asked after the battle left even the most resilient prisoners startled. Things became even more bizarre once the fistfight ceased, and Diddy changed from being a nasty guy to a depressed boy. Beyond just shaking, Bo Fast was pleading and saying things like, "Please, I'm sorry, and I didn't mean it." The same guy who previously bragged about his riches was now begging, promising commissary bribes and hip-hop royalty. There are even rumors that he offered to purchase books for other convicts to get them off his back. It's a real fall from grace, but he wasn't just begging to keep his face intact. When Diddy pleaded with the inmates not to divulge what they supposedly knew about his alleged shady operations, it was as if he had suddenly realized that everyone was watching and that prison walls had ears.
See Brooklyn, and we got the report on what's happening there. Doesn't look good, guys. This one doesn't have a lot of good Yelp reviews. We're also going to talk about this manipulator-in-chief, this woman who many say, and she's been mentioned some of these laws, was one of the people really behind helping to allow this to keep going. And yes, Diddy will be appealing later this afternoon. We will be there with the updates to let you know if this new judge will let him out of jail. In the meanwhile, let's look at this place that he's in jail, this new home, this troubled Brooklyn place. Here's a picture. It's a high rise. It is not getting good. I mean, not that it should, but you know, there should be basic human rights. And this place has faced intense scrutiny amid a spat of vicious inmates, you know, going after each other badly, complaints about dismal living conditions, including maggot-infested food, filthy cells, power outages. Apparently they go weeks without any sort of heat, which is, you know, not good, especially as the cold rears its head. These apparent conditions were brought to the spotlight during the trial of Maxwell. You know, I can't say the full thing. You know, the notorious Madame of Jeffy, when her attorney ripped the facility for the reprehensible and utterly inappropriate facility. She complained about using the bathroom, which was an open sewer drain, rats running around, rotten maggot-infested food, freezing temperatures for roughly a week when an electrical fire caused all the light and heating of the building. Apparently, violence-plagued federal lockup made headlines when it was hit with the claims that the staff had allegedly covered up a knifing point. It holds pretrial detainees as well as those serving short federal sentences. It holds about 1,700 inmates. Yeah, look, it's not a good place. As places are reports are coming in explaining more about it. Yeah, let's see who else has been here. We had R. Kelly, so he's in good homes there. R. Kelly, he's it's also Michael Cohen was there, Fetty Rap, Alison Mack from that trial, Ghislaine, and now he is in there as he's waiting what will happen next. It's interesting. We got his location. I had a picture here. I don't want to show this, but yeah, Sean John Combs. I have his registration number. He's located there. This is in like the prison database. You can go find it, and it's interesting because he's in the SHU, the SHU. Which apparently, with John Witherspoon is telling us most likely for his own protection, and also to keep him from like cutting deals, because you can cut other deals with prisoners in exchange for protection, extra food, commissary items, etc. Interesting insight from John there. I think it's spot on. You know, regardless if people want him to, you know, get shivved, he shouldn't right now. He shouldn't. Nobody should. He should be put in jail for the rest of his life. I'd much rather that outcome than have him get out quickly if he did all the things he did. Let's get to the truth of this first. But I want to talk about another part that's coming out as more people are spotlighting this woman right here. This one right here has been called his, sorry, I can't say certain keywords, but hopefully you understand why. I'm doing my best. Doing my best, chat. But Sean Diddy Combs once called his Combs Enterprise Chief of Staff, Christina Quran, his right hand. It's a Quram? It's Quram. Source close to the federal investigation believes she is more his manipulator-in-chief. Anybody is a gatekeeper, Christina would know everything, the source added. high-ranking supervisors were flagged in the 3-count federal indictment, charging Combs with all the things we've said. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the charge, but remains in custody. He's now offering a $500 million bail, which was rejected. We'll see if he gets this appeal today. Karam has not been arrested or charged with any case. So does that mean she's working with the feds? Because if his right-hand man is actually sharing the secrets, well, he's even more in trouble, right? That's the done deal. Now, is she nervous? If she's implicated or caught doing this as well, they might give her a plea deal or less time in order to sell out Diddy. You're really under the gun and the pressure's on. It happens. So I can't imagine Diddy's excited right now of being behind bars, and probably part of the reason why he's promising no female visitors. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. Supervisors facilitated these performances, the freak-offs, according to the indictment, stocking the hotel rooms with items, as we talked about. They've gotten evidence from a lot of sources, recordings, text messages, and texts from Christina Coram, apparently. There she is again, his right-hand man. Woman. Interesting, right? How do you allow that to go down? I would love, how does she justify all this behavior? Just the power, the control? How did she get in? She was the one who was actually seeing Diddy's issues and enabling them to then get her own control. Is that what was going off here? As long as she had that seat at the top of the table, she was okay doing. I don't know. That's what I'm just wondering. I'm not alleging anything. We will see. She is not yet charged. These allegations coming in. This is interesting. So, is that? Yeah. Okay. That's her too. I guess so. There she is. This looks more recent because they look upset there. Trying to figure out now what. So this woman could be a big key to figuring out what went down, unless she wants to take it all to the grave with her. Now, she did not return requests for comment. We'll see if she comes in. But yes, she was mentioned in Little Rod's suit. She knowingly, intentionally participated, perpetrated, assisted, supported, facilitated the venture, is what he alleges. And Coram required Combs' domestic employees, including the butler, chef, housekeepers, to carry a fanny pack with substances there, pink drug combination of things, and he could indulge his choice at any time. So she apparently, according to these rumors, would be there ready and willing to ensure he could have any substance, people, etc., etc. So if all true, a lovely individual. She's, I'm sure, very happy right now to be caught in this web. But that's where we stand. So far from this, this mansion that he was in, now he's in the raid. He's going to be in this high-rise security complex for it could be a little while. We'll see if today he is able to get out. That'll be the big question, and we'll be there covering the updates as we get them coming in. Sadly, this is New York, so we won't get this televised. It's so frustrating. All we get is sketches. We can't even get photos. I don't understand how just free press, all these trials are public knowledge. We should be able to be in there to ensure that we're getting the facts. But he's protected right now due to it being in New York, and we will stay tuned and be here. So make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for alerts right there, hit that all, and then when you get those alerts, smash that like, leave a comment down below. We'll be covering this case and a lot more. We got a lot more stuff in the bank, but we're obviously leaning into the updates as they come in. More are coming in. I think today, if he loses his appeal or wins his appeal, I think it's unlikely, based on the sources I'm talking about, that will comfort more people to come forward, right? Can he get out? Is he really behind bars? It's done. I'm seeing already some private threads and things that we may talk about later, illuminating a lot of things.
Some say fear is more complex than that. Yet you may ask why Diddy, the guy who built an empire, would end up begging that dread can do strange things. Rumor has it that Diddy's tough man reputation was only an image. But now that he is going up against the wall, the real Diddy is starting to show. Don't assume that your attempts to win his approval have been successful. It turns out that this guy is softer than a cushion in the Four Seasons, despite my belief that he was tough. One inmate sneered, "This is where it gets interesting, but it must hurt more than any punch." While some of the other prisoners shook their heads and some laughed, they all looked in shock. As the other inmates taunted him, one guy was listening carefully, retaining every word. Given his lottery-winning face, one would wonder what secrets Diddy could have revealed in that dire circumstance.
What they subpoenaed, but we know that prosecutors believe Combs did not act alone. He's the only one charged, but they believe as the leader of what they've called a criminal enterprise, there were a network of people who worked for him, who enabled these orgies that women were allegedly forced to partake in after they were drugged and held against their will. So prosecutors are amassing a lot of evidence. That's all going to be part of this trial now set for May 5th.
And of course, that reignites the question here of will we see more defendants named? But also, Aaron, we know that Combs' lawyers are accusing federal prosecutors and agents of leaking that hotel surveillance footage of Combs that prosecutors say shows him attacking his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. And Aaron, we know this was originally obtained by CNN, but what are both sides in this case arguing about that piece of video?
Well, the defense is accusing the government of leaks, and they want it to stop. The government says that's a baseless accusation. The government didn't even have the video before it aired on CNN, a prosecutor said, and they said this was just a defense tactic to try and get a damning piece of evidence removed from the case.
And Aaron, since you were in the courtroom there today, what was his demeanor like today? And does his team at all have a chance of getting him out on bail before this trial starts in May?
Diddy was a lot more relaxed today, Kana. He looked a lot less bloated than we've seen him during prior appearances. He was in a jail-issued beige, kind of ill-fitting smock and pants. He was shackled at the ankles, no handcuffs, so he was able to wave to his mother and children who filled 2 rows of the courtroom. The defense is still asking for his release on bail, but they have an appeal pending before a federal appeals court. So there was no application today. And the defense, if they can't get him released, are going to stick with MDC in Brooklyn, this troubled federal lockup. So far, it seems to be the defense says, though they say they reserve the right to try and move him.
Do you recall the prisoner who was observing Diddy with such interest? He was not the only one who was listening, as it turned out. These days, a leaked video is spreading online more quickly than salon rumors. It reveals a hitherto undiscovered aspect of Diddy. Are you prepared to see what it displays? It concerns the prisoner who was observing Diddy and how he was able to smuggle a phone into the jail. This was a risky move, but it seems to have been worthwhile for him since he starts surreptitiously filming Diddy when he is completely exposed. The barely 1-minute footage depicts Diddy appearing as if he has gone through a lot. The true shock in the video is hearing Diddy's trembling voice begging, "I'll do anything, just please don't." His customary swagger is gone, and his eyes dart about as if mayhem is about to break out.